This is Arukh HaShulchan, your idea, Siman Lamed Aleph, Sif Vav through Ches. This is supplemental day 163 of the Arukh HaShulchan Yomi cycle. Okay, so we're talking about the question of rot or other type of dissolving of the brain and its membranes. But language should be said where he writes that the brain itself, which has become rotted, part of it, on the smach, or crushed, and the membrane is intact. If it feels like water, okadonag is kind of like a pourable wax. It's treifa. Near the gamma rikamon circulios ma'at. Seems that the rot has to be relatively little. However, when it's very much rotted, it's treifa. According to this, we have no kamu mat. What's a little? Kamu arbe. What's a lot? They shouldn't have explained this to us. Therefore, it seems there's no shear which we can give for it. It's giving that's what the normally we'd expect to find. That it's rotted a little bit. If it was rotted extensively, the animal would have expired already. The Ram was not considered to mention the milk sheet. It's obvious, but Torah Shulchan Aruch is clear that the Torah Shulchan Aruch mentioned this. Lo Shulchokim Aran. It's not the argument. Because that's the case. You should write that the Ram does not hold that way. Kedar Kol Mekos, like they write all over. Just talk about the normal course of affairs. You find a little bit of Rikavon, a lot of it you wouldn't find. But the Torah mentions the part of something which is missing. Before he mentions something which is rotted, and then the Shlomo mentions afterwards that which he says that it was rotted, a bit of it was rotted. And that is what the Shulchan Aruch writes when he says Risar Muat is the same thing as recover Muat. Recover Achasi. It all means the same thing. In brackets, he says here, "Kam das shachs." You can basically a poskim. Also, the shach also holds that the poskim can argue with Yisrael Bach. He complains against the Bach. That which he says that it's like the marrow in the spinal column. His brother Fame said this will be explained later on. Even starting today, it's even has to test. Zayin, if he is but based on which explain how closely everything has to do with the quality of the rottage, the rot. If the rot is not so great, that it's like water or like this pourable wax, it's kshera. But Torah explains, even because if the rot is such, that if it was in the spinal column, and you would try and get the animal to stand, not the animal's dead, the spinal column to stand, I guess, it would not be able to stand. In other words, the means the compacting, compression, or crushing, but yeah, I guess it means it's used synonymous to rot. Would have reached this level in the spinal column because this type of rot is like water. Utrefa and it's treif. This is the measure of the pourable wax, which Ram Shulchan mentioned. In the brain, in the head, it can't give the simon. That's because the brain is in the skull and it's not supporting anything. As opposed to the marrow in the spinal column, who can make it's like a stick. You can give such a shear. All the words of Baiskim mean the same thing. Ches, v'yeshim was saying about Cholim, some of the Achroinim Shakos write that feeling Nibinirkav on the Smach Eno Kosher, even if it's rotted or compacted. It's not kosher often she'ila kazeh b'chilu shedra omed. That if it's so little, seems to be repeating himself, that it's a manner that if it would be in the spinal column, it would be able to stand. Because in the spinal column, this amount would cause it to fall. So if you stand up, it's also a trefa in the brain. Because therefore, when it would spill like water or like this portable wax, a trefa, because if this happens, spinal column, it will fall even if it's a little bit. Again, it seems to be repetitive here. The Shachar because Sham Shlema. Pirshah gave the Tur much custom. They explain this what the Tur means when he says Ocean is Rachech Shekayotze Bezev Chut Achera Imamina Soena Ometrefa. They explain that this is what the Torah means. So he says, or it became soft, that if it was found spinal column this way, if you tried to stand it up, it would not be able to stand. It's trefa kal shano. So now HaShulchan says, why I'm repeating this, I guess, because I'm telling you about the amount of the softness, not on the quality of the softness. Even if the softness is not in its quality like water or portable wax. Because there's a lot of it. A lot of it is rotted, and a lot of it has become compacted. That's a problem. The bracket says because the Yam Shlomo, like the Yam Shlomo writes. But he's going to say in Sif Test, although that's not part of today. Today, for some reason, it's a pretty short day. Tomorrow's significantly longer. So then maybe we should just, since it is short day, let's do tests. We should be astonished about this. Ikar trade is totally bizarre. My primary trade is to do with the softness. Echlo be a Rambam Varosh, Rashba, the Rambam, the Rosh, and the Rashba, and the Shulchan Aruch. Not explained over that. Before the Hebrew, they explicitly spoke that we only look at the quality of the rod. But Gandhi be a turn since the Torah is the quality of the rod. If the rod is like water, it's similar to water. In a manner in which, if it was in the spine, it would fall. But that's like the portable wax the Ram wrote. That's but the rod has not reached that quality. We don't care. How much is missing. The what's comparison of the spinal column, which is erect like a stick. Muso, who and all of its essence is that it has to stand. Never can't stand its trefa. But the brain, which is in the skull, what do we care? No matter what, it's going to stand and not fall. Before he seemed to say that that's not the measure, but okay. And it's therefore it should go by the quality of the rot, not the extent of the rot. When it's rotted until it looks like water or portable wax. Then inevitably the membrane is going to be pierced and it's going to be punctured and it's going to become trefa. And it's trefa. It hasn't reached this quality. It's not going to be eventually going to be punctured. There are Achronim who don't like what the Shach B'Chodesh wrote. That's a crazy place. Nevertheless, it's difficult to be made against those, to be lenient against those going more machmir, that it's not just in quality but also in quantity. In low behave sem ruba, unless it's have sem ruba, in which case he seems to be inclined to be makeover. It's archian. Back it says Sharei Bach in the brackets. He says Sharei Gam Das Bach Lachmir. Bach is also Machmir Son Muetes, and a little bit we're a little bit missing, presumably. Therefore, that's a reason to be machmir also by when it's soft. To extensively soft. Complaining against this. Nevertheless, he is also machmir. So I guess since he's machmir in another way, and this chumrah over here is he's another posek who's machmir under certain circumstances. I don't know exactly why Chisar Muad fits into the quantity of the softness of the Chut HaShedra, but somehow I guess we see that they're machmirim and therefore we have to be machmir. Okay, he's going to go into the Viduk. He's going to go a little bit more to the where that is, where the softness or the dissolving or the crushing is, or the rot in the next section.